All right, hey guys. So this is February 7th, and we're talking about trigonometry for my geometry students. And I started the class with a series of 5 problems. I'm going to go over 4 of them with you, just because I think these 4 really target what we really need to know. So the first problem was simply sine of 18 degrees. What does that equal? And the sine of 18 degrees is asking what is the ratio of the sides for sine. So sine, remember, is opposite over hypotenuse, and it's the ratio comparing those two, opposite side over the hypotenuse. So when you have a triangle, a right triangle, and you have 18 degrees here, we're wondering what is the ratio of the opposite to the hypotenuse. All right, and the information is stored. That answer is stored in your calculator. So what you need to do is you need to grab your calculator, and you need one that has some trig functions on it. And here's an example of a calculator with trig functions. All right, so you've got your sine, cosine, and tangent. All right, so what you're going to do is you want to clear that out of there. You want to do the sine of 18. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the sine button, and it pulls up sine. Look at that. All right, and then you type in 18. See? And then you hit equals, and it gives you your answer. Right? It tells you the ratio that compares those two sides is 0.3090, and we typically go to 4 decimal places on this one, but you just want to read the directions and see what it says. In this case, I wanted you to go to 4 decimal places. So you're going to write your answer, 0.3090 would be the answer. That is the ratio of the opposite to hypotenuse. Cosine of 78. Once again, you got yourself a triangle. It's a right triangle. If we call this 78 degrees, the cosine is adjacent to hypotenuse. So I want to know what is the ratio for these two sides at a 78 degree right angle, or right triangle with a 78 degree angle on it. So again, the place this is stored is in your calculator. So what is the ratio? I'm going to type in cosine. I'm going to type in 78. I'm going to hit equals, and it's going to give me 0.2079. So this one, 0.2079. This is the ratio when you compare the adjacent to the hypotenuse. All right, and that's all stored in your calculator, which is a nice thing. A long time ago, they didn't have these guys with all that information stored, and they had these charts that they had to page through. The students didn't have these nice, wonderful calculators. So now we're going to shift it up, and the next couple problems were, I'm asking you to find a side of a triangle, right? So basically, if I sketch this out, it looks like this. I have a right triangle. I know the angle is 29, and tangent is opposite x over the adjacent 112. And I want to know what is x. Well, at 29 degrees, the ratio is always going to be the same, right? And the calculator holds this information. So I just want to solve for x. In order to do that, I have to multiply by 112 on both sides, right? So x is being divided by 112. To undo that, I'm going to multiply by 112 on both sides. Right? So what you end up getting is x equals 112 times the tangent of 29 degrees. So in your calculator, you're going to type that in. You're going to do the tangent of 29, it equals, all right, so that's that ratio of the opposite to adjacent, and now I want to multiply that by 112, and I find that this side here, x, is going to have to equal about 62 units, okay, 62.08 if I round to 2 decimal places. But again, read the directions, it might say round to the wholest unit, the whole unit, or whole number, which would be 62. You just kind of have to read what it says. I think in the homework it asks you to round to the nearest whole unit, so in this case it would be 62. So you know that this has to be 62.8 roughly in order for the ratio to be equal, right? And that's equal at 29 degrees. So now we go to cosine of 38 degrees equals 7 over x. Now, this one's a little bit trickier, algebra-wise, is now I have my variable on the bottom. And a little trick here is when your variable's on the bottom, you simply, to solve it, switch what's here and with the x, right? So you're multiplying by x on both sides, but then you'd have to divide by the cosine of 38. So really we can just switch these and get our setup here, where x is going to equal 7 divided by the cosine of 38 degrees. So what does that equal? We type that into the calculator, all right? So 7 divided by cosine 38 equals, and you get roughly, if we round to 2 decimal point places, 8.88 units. Okay, and I didn't draw that out on this one, but you get the idea on how to solve it. So I hope that helps. I went over those 4 problems for you. The assignment will be posted in the comments above there for this video, and I hope that really helps you guys. All right, 6 minutes, 45 seconds, not too bad.